I'm a good fuck, and if I spray milk in your face while I'm shagging you, then you're just gonna like milk.
Welcome back to Lustcast. Tighten your grip on those mugs, gents, because today we're not just talking about any milk, we're talking about breast milk. And here's the best bit. It's a sex thing. Join us as we explore the realm of adult breastfeeding. We'll shed light on the raw intimacy, those irresistible sips, and the undeniable allure that keeps some guys hungrily chugging down. But before this episode gets too frothy, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. And if you love my content, please consider taking out a premium subscription. I'm subscriber funded, so I rely on you guys to help me keep making the show. There's a link in the description where it's $4.99 a month and you get bonus and uncensored content. Okay, back to breast milk. So guiding us through this creamy journey is the enchanting Alice Lovegood. Lovegood. I keep saying Lovegood.
Love God.
Yeah, just in my head.
I can be a love God if you like.
Guiding us through this creamy journey is the enchanting Alice Lovegood. Ready to spill the tea, Alice?
I am.
I wrote that. Can you tell?
Well done.
and I almost read it.
Very excited. Good job.
Amazing. But
Yeah.
we really are talking about breast milk.
We are talking about breast milk.
And is this a common thing, would you say? Kink?
Right. So it's becoming more popular.
Mm.
And I think it's more common than we realize to be enjoyed, but it's not that much of a common fetish, if that makes sense. So lots of guys are like, sure, like spray milk on me, why not?
Spray milk, why not?
But like, there's less that are like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But it is, there are people that are like that.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of, because most fetishes, they come up in conversation or just you see them on TV and movies and things sometimes. But I don't think I really hear this, apart from the debate over like public breastfeeding that comes up sometimes.
It has been in a couple of, so I don't know if anybody's seen Working Mums, which is a comedy of the new mums, and there's like a younger guy who's with one of the mums, and he's got like a milk thing.
Milk
It's quite
thing.
funny. Yeah.
I think that's what you have to call it, isn't it? A milk thing.
A milk thing. I got a thing for milk.
Yeah.
Out your boobs.
Yeah.
Not just any milk.
Yeah, and sometimes you hear it like as a marketing stunt as well. Like I remember like 10, 15 years ago, there was a ice cream place in Covent Garden selling breast milk ice cream.
Yeah.
For like 1 week only or something.
I think the thing is like the difficulty with it as a kink or a fetish is women have worked so hard for like breastfeeding rights and for it to be okay to feed in public and
I didn't
not
know
to be
that.
sexualized. Yeah. So
I didn't know breastfeeding rights was a thing.
yeah, so many people get a horrible backlash for feeding their babies in public.
I'm not going to lie, I snigger and then feel embarrassed and then politely look away.
Yeah, but that's probably because you're just not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last time I saw it, it was, it's going to sound a bit pretentious, but I was in Monaco and there was a woman breastfeeding. He must have been 5 years old.
Yeah, but that's actually perfectly natural.
Yeah.
Children's natural age for weaning is actually when you get your molar, when you get your adult teeth at like 5 to 7 years old. Like we're supposed to drink milk, but we're just not used to it. And because breasts are so sexualized, people can't separate that. And they're like, oh, it's weird.
It is hard to separate the breast from the milk.
It is. And it's, the thing is though, like my opinion is the sooner that we learn that things can be sexual and non-sexual and it's not the person who owns the breasts job to decide whether it's sexual or not for you, the better. Like hands can be sexual, feet, there's people strolling around with flip-flops on and there's foot fetishists everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we are perfectly capable of controlling our sexual response to something, and it's that person's responsibility, not the human with the thing that's being sexualized. So when I feed my baby in public, that's not sexual, but if I want you to suck on my boobs with milk in them, that can be a sexual thing because it's context.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm learning more and more since I've been doing this podcast is I started to understand fetishes and kinks more, that literally anything can be a kink.
Anything.
Just something can just a wire, even because they get crossed. I don't know if you'd call it a mistake or just a coincidence. I don't know.
It's really
anything.
not it's not really understood. So there's a big difference between a kink and a fetish.
Yeah.
So like a fetish is, all fetishes are kinks. I think that's the way. A kink is essentially something that is
just
not intended to be like it's a non-sexual thing. Like it's a little bit different, and something that turns you on, and you like it. So it could be impact play, it could be milk, it could be, but you don't need it. Whereas a fetish is something that you require to get enjoyment.
Like my fetish for missionary sex in a bed.
No, because that's normal. all fetishes are
I'm just joking.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it has to have a level of intrigue.
It has to have a bit of bizarreness.
Yeah.
So like, you wouldn't say like pretzeling someone and fucking them is a fetish, or like oral is a fetish, because that's a regular sexual thing that people like.
It is now. It would
be like
it wasn't latex, in the past.
Yeah, like latex or like stockings or feet or whoopee cushions.
Yeah, you saw that.
Farts.
I was like, Evie, I need to see this video.
Farts are so funny as well. I did like a fart reel recently. Like, I just thought it was hilarious. And now literally everything suggested on my Instagram is about farts. It's like Instagram was like, she likes farts, let's give her the fart stuff. But so it's so interesting. I find it so interesting. Oh, and fetishes are often very visual as well. And most
that's true.
They're far more common in men than women, because so the way that we develop sexually as children, men have a physical and very obvious response to arousal. So they associate what they see when they have an erection to sexual like arousal. They're like, oh, I've got a hard on, I'm horny, this is what's making me horny. Whereas a woman doesn't have that visual and obvious bodily response, so they're much more likely to be responsive desire, and it'll be like the situation that makes them horny, and they need like stimulation before they can get horny. So that's why a lot more men have fetishes, and why they're so much more visual than they are like the feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I always thought as well that men get obsessed with things more easily. Anything in their life, they kind of identify with that thing they do and take it to a crazy extreme level. Some women do as well, but I think it's less common.
Yeah, it's actually it's very intense to have a fetish. And I actually, like, when someone fetishizes me, like, sometimes I feel like really overwhelmed by how they speak. It's like you don't feel like you're a part of their arousal because it's that one thing.
That makes sense.
And I do think it must be really difficult to have like that lack of control over what's turning you on.
I don't think they're often aware of how they make others feel, though.
Yeah. It's intense.
Yeah.
Like, I've got someone who has like a fetish for trainers with no socks, and if I even mention having trainers on, he just is like, bah!
That would bother me so much. I'd just be thinking, like, how are you going to keep the shoes clean?
Yeah, I know, it's so stinky.
Yeah.
You just have to buy me a new pair every week.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll send him the old stinky pair.
Oh, I thought like before we get into it, we should talk about breast milk, because that's what the fetish is about. Mm-hmm. And it has an interesting history. I didn't realize that it's been kind of used in erotica and sexual content for a long time.
Yeah, it's very much. So personally, like, my experience with people who have it as a kink or fetish, there's so many different elements to it. So there's people who have a thing for breeding, and then usually that then carries on to pregnancy, and then the pregnancy carries on to milk. It's like and they almost like see women as like a goddess, like a fertility goddess.
And that makes complete logical sense because in a primal way, it's kind of, obviously we've evolved past that, I'd say, but
I hope not.
when you get,
I want to be a
when you
fertility.
get to, that's why we're here, isn't it? Just to reproduce. So
exactly, yeah. And it's like very like it goes along a lot with like body worship and awe almost, which I think is really wonderful. That's part of the thing that I enjoy.
You would have loved like ancient Roman and Greek times when you could be like that sex oracle.
God, yeah. And I love like to like ride and like squirt all over and just be like.
So you're like a pond ornament, just spraying milk everywhere while you have sex.
And then I also like, I personally have like I have a big thing for anything that's like wet. So squirting, oil. I love like the visual of it and what it looks like. So that's just really fun. And then there's guys that like it because they have like a want to be cared for, like mummy dom. They want to be cradled and held and made feel safe, and what's safer than being, and then there's people, it can also be a very like dominant thing. So guys like to like breed you, keep you as almost like cattle, milk you.
Like cattle?
Yeah, so it's a big, yeah, literally. Like I've got videos like dressed up as a cow.
Well, I've
A cow.
done this on one of my websites, but we did it just copying some Japanese girls. Like the cowgirl trope was a thing. And we just like splashed milk over them and had like a milk bath and things. But we were thinking of it as like a cute thing.
No, there's some really like aggressive things. Like they want to like stock you up and pump your tits. It's quite full on sometimes.
It is how, yeah, I mean, we're going, wow.
Yeah, it's full on. And then what else? Oh, and then there's obviously like from the woman's side, it is actually like a biological thing that you would enjoy. So when I first had my baby, I couldn't orgasm without letting down milk. It was impossible because the same hormone that's responsible for orgasm is responsible for releasing milk. It's oxytocin. So it's like it's the love hormone. So of course it will feel good to release milk and improve like intimacy with your partner. Is a biological, natural, hormonal response.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had children, but I'd love to find out what percentage of husbands or parents, like male parents, actually enjoy it secretly. Because I guess like when you have a baby, like you can't not produce milk. So I guess there's going to be some splashback, I guess, during sex anyway. Or...
It depends. Like if you have to establish it. But I've never.
In my head, I'm just imagining like it just spraying out.
No,
like slush.
It's not really how it happens. So when you first have a baby, you have like what's called colostrum, which is like a very thick yellow milk it's not abundant. It's very small, and that's because the baby is learning how to feed and breathe at the same time. So they call it like liquid gold because it's got so much stuff in it that's incredible for the baby.
Is that the fetish community calls it that, or
no?
This is just a thing. Okay,
God, yeah.
I'm so naive on child stuff.
So it's like it's got like hundreds of thousands of antibodies, like one droplet. It's just magic. It's magic stuff. Milk in general is magic. But yeah, so if you don't feed your baby during those like 3-4 days of making colostrum, you won't go on to make. You'll get milk come in, but it will go away pretty quickly.
Okay, so you've got to
So the first 6 weeks of your breastfeeding, you're essentially priming your milk ducts to be like, yeah, we need to make milk, let's make milk. And then after that, it takes ages for it to go away. But like if you don't establish it within those 6 weeks, then it will go away quite quickly.
Yeah, see, I thought there was loads. And I think the
No.
reason I thought that is because I looked up the world record for producing breast milk. And there was a woman in the USA called Ailsa Ogletree, and she donated 413 gallons of breast milk.
Oh yeah, she had like a condition that was like
Oh,
yeah, so
I was thinking this was like
she
normal.
literally couldn't stop making milk. But so milk production, how much you make is based on how much you take out. So if you remove milk, then your body's like, oh, I need to make more milk, and it will make more
That
milk.
makes sense.
But if you don't remove milk, then your body's like, don't need it, let's
It's
dry it.
kind of amazing, isn't it? So I thought it would just like make milk, and then they'd be like, okay, well, you need it until the baby,
Yeah,
like 2
no,
years or
it's
something. I don't know.
it's all based on how much you remove.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I actually I fed my last baby for 18 months, and then I stopped, and then I'd essentially dried up. Like I could make droplets, but that was it. And then I was like, I kind of want to make milk again.
Why did you want to make it? Is it a fetish for you as well?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's like a little bit of a pick me thing. Like I'm like, oh, I just really like doing something that not everybody can do. It's exciting for me to like, and I've got a real thing for like surprising people and wowing them. Like, so if I'm like, hey, check this out, and they've never seen it before, never had it before, then that makes me really excited.
That makes sense. I mean, I guess it's the same for guys, right? We kind of like to
do something different.
I think there is this kind. I don't know if you get this, but when a guy comes on a girl, it feels quite territorial. Like you're kind of claiming this.
Yeah.
Is it
See,
the same
I
with?
just like the idea of being like that girl, like, oh, remember that girl that was just fucking nuts, that like sprayed milk all over me. I love that. Like I love like meeting someone.
So you've like say been on a date and had sex with someone and just surprised them with
Sprayed milk all over them, yeah.
What did they say?
They were like, oh fuck yeah, this is hot.
And no one's ever reacted badly.
Like, haha, gave you a milk kink. Goodbye.
But for real.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've never heard that before, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting though that everybody likes it.
I've never ever met someone who didn't like it.
That's so interesting. Do most of them taste it too? Or? Wow.
Yeah, it's
really similar to squirting, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
when you think about it, you're like, oh God, that's disgusting. But in the moment,
I love it.
It's like,
oh, this is really hot. Yeah.
I guess because it feels like, I guess for a guy, one of the big problems most guys have is like, we don't always know when or if a girl's come. But when you have this visual explosion, it's like, something went well.
It's kind of funny though, because you don't actually need to orgasm to squirt.
Yeah, but it still makes us feel good.
Like, I made a squirt.
I made something happen.
The girl's there like, didn't come though.
Doesn't matter. Something happened. Something happened. Yeah, visual cues are good. Visual things are hot. Yeah. It completely makes sense. I did not expect that though.
No?
No.
What, that everybody would like it, or?
Yeah, and the surprise thing as well.
There might be some people that...
I thought it might be so niche that you'd have to be like, do you want...
But then I am very open with people that it's a thing for me, so I don't... Like, I always say, like, oh, I got a thing for milk, like, I make milk, and so I guess, like, I just haven't... Because I am, like, too open about it.
Because, like, if I have a cup of tea, I like them to ask if I want milk in it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I guess...
But the surprise is quite hot, though. I get why it's hot.
Yeah. I like being, like, just wowing people a little bit, I guess.
I definitely would wow people. I completely lost where I am. But Yeah, let's just get into the fetish.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go on history and stuff, but let's just get into it.
Okay, let's go.
Um, yeah, you any idea where it comes from? The guys that are into it.
So like kind of like what I said
Mm.
before about like it's a lot like usually it's come from a breeding thing or a goddess like thing or a mummy thing or then there's the
What's the most common reason, do you think?
uh the most common is just enjoying the visual.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because men are visual creatures.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if it was like when you said the like kind of breeding thing.
Mm.
You know, like when a woman gets pregnant and
Yeah.
she's like at the beginning, she's kind of like really happy and
Yeah.
just super, super happy.
Yeah, there are a lot of a lot of guys that like pregnancy. I find it's like they're remembering a time that was really like happy for them.
Mm.
So like when their wife was pregnant and it's usually like, oh, and it was such a
Oh, so they've like,
yeah.
and maybe at that time they might have been starved or had extra sex. Like
Yeah.
whichever one they had, I
Yeah.
guess they're both equally memorable, right?
Yeah. Oh, and another thing I find a lot with like kinks is a lot of people have kinks of something that they can't have.
Mm.
And I'm actually someone who's a bit like this as well. So like before, I used to have a huge thing for fisting. It was pretty much all I watched. And then when I did it, it was like, oh,
Okay.
that's that then. But I think obviously like milk is something that is not every woman can do. It's not really common, and the women that do it are usually in relationships and settled down, or they don't find it sexual themselves. So it's something that people can like fantasize about.
It's really interesting though, because I'm just thinking, if I had 100 guys in this room and I gave them a glass of your breast milk, I don't think many of them would try it. But
Oh, I bet they would.
I reckon during sex, 100% would.
I think they would anyway.
You think they would?
Yeah, just out of interest. But then maybe just the circles I run with are just weirdos. I just run with weirdos.
Yeah, tell us in the comments, like, would you try her breast milk?
Yeah, because I have loads of people like, oh, like, can I just try it? Can you put it in a shot glass? I want to try it.
Well, this is an interesting thing as well, is when I was searching, I didn't realize you could buy breast milk online
Yeah.
for babies.
Yeah.
And it's like frozen or fresh, delivered to your door. I'm like,
well,
what?
it's so much better for babies than formula. So
Yeah.
it should be more common than it is. It should be.
Yeah, but in terms of the kink, I wondered how many guys are just buying that for themselves.
Yeah, they are. There are lots because I thought about selling it, but it's really complicated with like, oh, I have to make sure it's frozen and then package it. I was like, oh, I can't be bothered with this.
And breast milk is alive, you know, it's like
Yeah.
blood cell, like white blood cells.
Yeah, yeah, antibodies.
Yeah.
Because when we all had COVID, the whole family was drinking breast milk.
Really?
Come on, guys. That's a manual.
I saw a lot of different COVID treatments, but that wasn't one of the ones I saw. But
Well, it makes the antibodies. Any bug that you have, it's really, really incredible, actually. So, like, when I was breastfeeding, I never got ill because when you're feeding your baby, the baby's saliva goes through your nipple, tells your body, oh, here are the bugs that I've introduced today. Make me some antibodies. And then your body makes the antibodies and gives those antibodies back to the baby. They've even done tests where, like, a mum who's tandem feeding, which means she's feeding a toddler and a baby, or like two babies at the same time. One of them will be like poorly, so she'll like have one boob for the poorly one and one boob for the other, and the milk's like different colors. Like when they're poorly, like the milk's like blue with all these incredible. It's just magic, and I didn't breastfeed my first baby, and he had really terrible asthma, and he nearly died. So that's why I was like, I'm going to breastfeed my second baby. And
yeah, I saw it a lot better.
Yeah, they never had any illnesses or anything. It's magic stuff.
And is the adult breastfeeding thing as a role play, is that
So not for me and my
something
partner.
different?
No, some people do it. Like I think like a lot of men have a real desire, which is, it's a beautiful desire really, to just be cared for and feel safe and loved. And what's more safe than being cradled in like a motherly situation? I think that's really therapeutic.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm,
I always wonder, like, are those people, do they have like, maybe they didn't have
get that.
enough or did they
Yeah.
have too much?
Yeah. And that's what they desire. Another one thing is some people I've seen have a real thing for like engorged boobs, like when you're like so full of milk you're like in pain and they're all veiny. And yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my friend having something like that, I think. I didn't ask too much about it because I was like, don't know much about babies. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those first few days where the milk comes in. There's a video of me that I have on Fancy actually where I'm like, help! And the milk is just like pouring out.
Really?
Yeah.
Just leaking?
Yeah, just pouring. I'm like, ah! And they're all like veiny and gigantic.
Wow. I'm learning so much about breast milk.
Yeah, see, I studied as a midwife, so
Okay.
yeah, so I've got like both sides, porn side and midwife side.
I'm just realizing how bad my sex education was, that they
It's
didn't
terrible,
even teach
isn't it?
us
Yeah.
about milk. And unless you have a baby, I think you maybe don't even look at it.
Mm.
So when you're role playing with an adult breastfeeding though, is that something you've done? Because
Yeah.
a grown man, it doesn't really fit on your
I've
knee.
not done it in person.
Mm.
I've only done like the videos where I'm
I like
like,
virtual.
yeah. Not that I wouldn't, but my partner is not comfortable with me doing like in-person stuff. But yeah, like I've just done like role play videos where I like, it's like a mummy dom role play. Like I'll squirt the milk and yeah. Or like a stepmom thing where I'm like, I just need you to help me out. I'm so full. I love that.
Yeah, help me as I'm so full.
Yeah.
Do you ever cook with it?
No, I haven't. What have I done though?
You haven't made ice cream or anything?
No. No, I haven't done any of that. I had like so much of it, but I used it all for my baby, so I don't think I did anything weird with it. I think I had plans to, but I just didn't. I should really. I'd do a little baking show.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that you haven't.
Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? That should be my next.
Sounds like you're spraying it everywhere.
I've only got one working
kitchen.
boob now, though, which I think is just so funny.
What's that?
So this one doesn't make milk,
Okay.
but this one does. We call this one the megaboob.
Megaboob.
Because it's like 2 sizes bigger than that one, and this one can like squirt milk like all the way over the ceiling, and this one's like, I'll give you just a dribble. And it's like really yellow because it's gone back to colostrum.
Yeah.
But this one's like, hey, I'll make milk for 2 of us.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So if a guy's really into breast milk,
how do you? Really hard, isn't it? Because
how do you bring that up in conversation?
This is a difficult thing because some women are like, absolutely not. Don't touch my boobs. They're not sexual. They're for my baby.
Oh, really? Once they...
Yeah.
Yeah, because doesn't your libido drop after you have a baby? Or not for everybody, but for a lot of women?
Sometimes. It really depends on the person. And but breastfeeding can drop your libido. Breastfeeding is nature's natural contraception. So when you breastfeed exclusively, you don't ovulate.
Okay.
It's like nature's way of making sure that you can actually look after your baby before you're pregnant again. And
kind of cool.
Yeah, and when you get pregnant, your milk usually dries up because of the hormones. So a lot of women do experience a drop in libido when they're breastfeeding because they're not ovulating.
Yeah, that makes sense. God, I'm learning so many things I should have learned a long time ago.
Shit.
Yeah. But I'm like, there's going to be people that have had babies, they're just thinking I'm a complete moron. But I bet there's a lot of people like me that
Yeah.
just don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm in the sex business, so you'd have thought I would know, but I don't.
But like, this is the thing. Like, I think it's actually a feminist issue because, for some reason, mothers aren't seen as sexual. It's like, oh, you have a baby, and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like
I'm
the
a mother.
MILF
I'm
thing is a
horny.
thing, but it's like once the MILF thing is like not while they have a baby.
No, it's like older, isn't it?
Mm.
And the MILF thing's usually like
MILF
a
basically
naughty
means
older
plastic
woman.
surgery, big
Massive
boobs.
tits,
Yeah.
glasses. Let
Yeah.
me show you how it's done. But yeah, I think actually, and I think it's a lot of women. I think if we could normalize it, mums, then women would feel better because they struggle after they have a baby. Their body has changed
Might save
so
a lot of
much.
marriages.
Yeah, their body's changed and they've suddenly got this thing that's like dependent on them 24/7, and they don't feel like themselves. So yeah, I think it's important to say that you're still sexual and beautiful and deserving of sex after you've had a baby.
Yeah, I think so, because some women kind of get back to themselves quite quickly, but then others it takes years. And I remember that with one of my friends that, her body did change so much and she lost all of her sexual confidence. And I think it took her about 2 or 3 years before she felt confident sexually again. And in a relationship, that's poisonous, I think.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I think for me, like, I had a baby when I was 17. So I never had my sexual, like, growth because I had a baby before. Most people are experimenting and learning themselves into their late 20s, but I'd already had a baby. And I think, like, I always felt robbed of that. And it wasn't until I did OnlyFans and learned that actually, like, people find a mum bod attractive that I felt desirable again.
They do.
Yeah, definitely. I've like lost 5 stone as well. I've got a lot of extra skin. I've got stretch marks. I've got, empty boobs. I've very much got a mum bod, and I've got 8,000 fans on my page, and I've never ever ever had one say, "Oh, I don't like your body." Never.
Yeah, because people are nice mostly, and it's real. And even girls that haven't given birth have stretch marks and scars and problems.
I just think that people look at what they like in you.
Yeah.
Like you see what's beautiful in a person. Like, oh, they got stunning eyes or like amazing lips, or you look and like hone in on what's beautiful about that person, and you just don't see the other stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. Or she keeps surprising me.
Yeah.
We spoke about selling milk, but you don't sell milk yourself, do you? Do other girls sell milk?
Yeah. But I just find it a bit too much hard work with like having to package it and sell it. I've got ADHD, so I can't even remember to send back packages that I have. Like, I've got a breast pump that I rented that I haven't used for a year, and I pay £50 a month for that thing.
What's a breast pump?
Oh my goodness.
Is this literally like the cattle thing again?
And it sucks.
So you're just hooked up to a machine?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I've done content with that, like people like that. I dressed up as a cow, had the pumps on.
But I was thinking,
had a little fiddle at the same time.
if you're selling breast milk, doesn't it go off?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Gets there? Yeah.
That's what I can't be bothered with.
You
can get special packages that like freeze and keep it frozen.
Oh, okay.
But I can't be asked for that.
Yeah.
I'm far too lazy.
Yeah. Okay. My favorite topic now. So I learned when I was researching this that men can produce breast milk.
Yeah. Anyone can produce.
And I don't mean a trans man, but an actual
man. Yeah, actual biological man. Sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say an actual man because trans men are men. But so anyone can produce breast milk, but that doesn't mean it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult.
I heard that sometimes if you're on certain medications
Yeah.
or
So
hormonal changes in your body,
yeah.
but it
So, for
said,
example, a lot of like adoptive mums will, or LGBTQ mums will want to induce lactation so that they can support their partner or they can feed their baby.
oh, what? So you can feed male milk to a baby?
Well, you can, but what I mean is this. I'm talking about women at the moment.
Oh, sorry.
But even that is really difficult as a woman. So I think
Okay. Because they're on male hormones, aren't they?
no, just women in general. So
Oh.
if you haven't had a baby and you want to
Oh,
make milk,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, if you hadn't given birth to a
Yeah.
baby and you want to make milk, you would have to, first of all, you usually have to go on a contraceptive to trick your body into thinking it's pregnant, and to develop your breasts. So your breasts aren't fully developed until you're 30 or you've completed a pregnancy. So you have to do that. Then you have to stop that to make your body think it's given birth. Pump every 2 hours for at least 20 minutes.
Pump.
Yeah, the breast pump.
Even if there's nothing in it?
Even if there's nothing in it to stimulate. And then some people then have medication to encourage breast milk as well.
Wow. So it's not easy.
So it's hell of a mission.
Yeah, because I found some things on the internet and it was saying they were very, very badly designed websites that looked like they were from the 90s.
You've been on a hunt here.
Yeah, I got a bit fascinated.
This is hilarious.
And they refer to them as milkmen.
Right.
And
now this is a fetish. Then you're going to get loads of people and said, look, I'm going to look at milkmen.
And they were like, basically it said like to stimulate your nipples over a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And you can produce a little bit of breast milk.
Yeah.
And these men were really into making their own milk.
And they managed it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a lot of milk.
A little bit of milk.
A trickle, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
But
the human body is incredible.
I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a thing.
Yeah, well, like male breasts are essentially the same. Like we're all made of the same parts, we're just organized in different ways.
Yeah, you just don't expect it because you always think the man's just got muscles there and no
there's still ducts in there. Yeah, like even like squirting is from like what would have been our prostate. Like we're all the same. We're just organized in different ways.
Yeah, gotta love the body.
Yeah.
Are there any like health and safety kind of things? Because I don't know, to me, drinking breast milk, it has like an ick factor.
Do you think?
For me personally.
Yeah, would you not do it?
I would try it if it was like, I would try it if it was breast milk ice cream. Like if it had some flavor, you know?
It has got flavor. It tastes like almond milk.
If you put some Nesquik in there, I think I would try it.
See, it's really sweet. It's way nicer than normal milk.
I mean, that's the funny thing because I'm happy to drink cow's milk.
Yeah,
right?
You're drinking cow titty milk right now from an animal, but a human milk designed for humans is weird.
Yeah.
Unpick that. Where does that come from?
That's a really good question. Are you saying we should normalize breast milk and set the cows free?
Yeah. Nah, I like cow milk, but
imagine that human breast milk on the supermarket fridges.
It should be. It's way better for us.
And you could like choose like the picture of the girl that it came from on the packaging. So it's like, yeah, like the hotter she is, the more expensive it is.
I'm the gold top.
Yeah.
But it should be normalized. Like, why is it normal to drink cow tit milk? You can see underneath somebody like underneath the cow. Like, why is that normal? But my milk is weird.
Well, I'm not under the cow doing it.
Yeah, but you are though.
But it does taste nicer when it's fresh and not treated or anything.
It doesn't. Try human milk. It's way nicer.
I will one day.
One day. You could try my milk. He's gonna leave with a milk kink, I'm determined.
It's like
He's sweating in his chair.
It's like I'm thinking, could this be a YouTube video? Like, have I got it in me? Will I just faint before it touches my lips?
It's really not that bad.
Yeah, it's just, it's like when you try a new food that you're not used to. Because I think I read somewhere that you have to try something, I think 16 times before you like it.
Have you drank almond milk?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'll like it. It's pretty much exactly the same taste.
Yeah, almond milk's the nicest of the
it's
ones.
It's like very sweet and subtle. But different people's tastes different.
Yeah, I heard if depending on what you eat, it changes the taste as well.
I was very cross once because me and my friend both made it and we like put it in shot glasses and this guy tried them and he was like, "Oh, this one's way nicer." I was like, "Oh, bitch."
Hers was nicer than yours.
Yeah. She don't make milk no more, no.
She's just giving me the semi-skimmed stuff or something.
Yeah. She secretly put sugar in it. Like.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because I'm not used to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something we're not used to seeing. It's like...
You know what else it is? I can't drink breast milk without thinking of my mum's breasts.
Yeah.
And that, like...
icks you out.
Naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Like, I can understand why that would be like, ooh.
Because I think that when I said earlier about when I saw like a 4 or 5 year old breastfeeding, I thought, would that be a traumatic memory when you're older? To have memories
but that's you sexualizing
breastfeeding.
It. That's you sexualizing.
Not as a sexual thing, just like...
Yeah, but it is. You're sexualizing.
Yeah, you're right. But that could be traumatic, right?
No.
No?
Not if it's not sexualized.
But everything's sexualized.
If you sexualize it.
So I'm sexualizing, yeah.
You're sexualizing that child drinking its mum's milk, but it's not sexual.
Yeah.
So that's your issue.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but
this is what it comes down to again, context.
Yeah.
And our inability to separate our own.
Yeah, because I can look at a woman's breasts and not think of my mum's breasts.
Exactly.
But I can't look at breast milk without thinking of the mothering side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think you can get used to things though.
Yeah, exactly. It is just getting used to things, and
because I can eat every type of food. I can eat it and get past that ick factor because I just like trying different food. But I just feel like breast milk, I'd be tasting an ingredient rather than food.
But cow milk is food, is it?
I'm a hypocrite. I can't.
How's that ingredient you got there as a tasty beverage? Does it taste very ingredient-y?
Fuck. It's so hard to win this argument and convince you that breast milk is more weird than cow milk.
Because it's not. It's just,
yeah,
it's just not.
If anyone has a better argument than me, just please tell me in the comments.
I'm sure they'll try, but...
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just... Because I think that I'm out of arguments. I just feel like that breast milk should be more normal now.
Yeah,
you've convinced me.
Yeah, it should be. And it's, again, I just want to reiterate, it's context. Like, feeding my child is not sexual in any way, shape or form. Just like hands can be sexual, mouths can be sexual, spit can be sexual, feet can be sexual, dependent on the context and the situation. Because
this is the thing that a lot of people have been struggling with on my channel. I did an episode about DDLG and I've done episodes about age gap relationships. And it seems to be when there's an older man in the caring or daddy role, people have a really big problem with it. And they see it as borderline pedophilia.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to think that with this.
Yeah, I have
as well. But I think to a lesser extent,
Yeah.
because it's an older woman and a younger man.
Yeah.
In, the role play is a different dynamic.
Yeah, and that's not actually the thing I enjoy. I don't enjoy that kind of role play, but I'll provide that as a service for someone who wants caring for. I think.
But some people would say that, like, oh, it's kind of messed up and you're encouraging, this kind of even abusive dynamic. But like you shouldn't be mothering
people really underestimate humans and how we have an incredible ability to understand context. Like, we aren't children or animals. We're not stupid, and we understand when something is a role play and when something isn't a role play. Like, it's not hard. We can watch really violent, graphic movies where people are being murdered and chased after and horrific things happening as entertainment and understand that that was a film. Like, if people enjoy a mental aspect, a release, a dynamic, a role play, that has no influence on real life. Like, we are able to identify what's real and what's not.
Yeah, I think so. In this situation, I definitely think so as well.
Yeah.
But I ask it more for people that are watching that may be thinking things like that, like, oh, this is creepy, you shouldn't do it. It's encouraging the wrong dynamic. But I agree mostly with what you said. I do think that the problem is that we don't get good sex education. And so I think there is a percentage of people who are learning from the fantasy and then maybe are doing bad things because of it.
There's always a percentage that will do take.
But I don't think that's like, say, porn's fault or the fantasy's fault.
No. It's a very small percentage. I've had maybe like 0.1% of people say, "Can I see you feed your baby?"
Oh, so they like sexualize
Yeah.
the feeding.
Yeah. Or they use it as a window to access child.
Yeah.
But that is very.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. It's very, very rare, but it is a thing that happens. That and nappies tend to be the two ins that people try to use with mums in porn to try and get access to children. So they'll say,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the other thing is they'll say, oh, I've got like a nappy fetish. Have you got any nappies in your house? And then they'll be like, what size are they? Because they want to figure out how old your baby is, basically.
Wow, that's super creepy.
It's horrible. And if you...
Hopefully those people get banned quite...
Well, you can... Yeah, but they're still about. That's the two ins. And usually as well, like, you'll say like, oh, so like, if I can go to the shop for you and buy some nappies. And they're like, no. Like, what size are the nappies that you have?
That's so dark.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'd love to team up with the police and be like...
Yeah. I'm going to bring it back to a lighter topic.
Yeah, let's talk about fun stuff again.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just
it's just fascinating.
Yeah, and it has been a theme recently just because in the comments people don't seem to understand the difference between the fantasy and they judge they judge the fantasy based on the real life.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time with like CNC and stuff. People project their own feelings onto your situation. Even with like because we did a threesome video recently, and I had a fantasy for a long time about being cucked. So we did like a video where I was cucked and
female.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing my partner in a lot of pleasure, and I really enjoy the act of sharing my partner and almost showing him off. But there was like a point in it where she was performing oral on him, and he like cupped her face and said, "Oh, you're really fucking good at that," and I just was like, and I wasn't actually responding to what was happening. I was responding to like. Often when you have like a feeling in the present, it's a feeling that you've had in the past, and you're responding to that. So like growing up, I have 4 sisters, and my dad was always really competitive to us.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I felt really good and safe was when I was the best at something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like the risk of me not being the best made me feel unsafe in that situation, and I was responding to that. And I did a video on TikTok about and Instagram about how it's actually like it's okay if a fantasy isn't what you expect it to be, and it's okay to have negative feelings and work through them and process them as part of being human. And so many people were like, oh, you're gonna mess up your whole relationship. Oh, you like, what are you doing? Like, you're obviously like monogamous, and you shouldn't be doing this. And why would you put yourself through that? You look so sad. And and I was just like, you're projecting your own feelings onto me. Like, I am fine. I'm okay. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to feel as a human, to feel a negative emotion. Like, it's not, we spend so much of our lives avoiding negative feelings that when they do inevitably come, we don't know how to deal with them.
I think it's a really good point, because so often on this podcast, we talk about the importance of communication, and we always assume that people communicate perfectly and everything is how you imagine it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not true.
No.
I've had more than once in my life where, even I think last year, a friend of benefits, she wanted to try anal, and we did. And all that beginning, I was like very slow, always communicating. She was fine with everything, enjoying it. But afterward, she started crying. And it was because she felt like a slut. And she felt that she degraded herself. But she enjoyed
The
the
act.
act.
Yeah.
She wanted to try
So
something
she
new.
wasn't responding to what had happened. She was responding to the
So how her
feeling
friends
of
would
being,
think of her.
yeah, and the feeling of being degraded, and what being a slut meant to her.
Yeah, and she felt like she was somehow less now, and she cried quite a lot. And she wasn't like a naive young person. She was like my age. And it was really difficult to deal with. I just tried to be like supportive, tell her it's okay. It's, what can you do? You just have to go through it. And, she learned that she doesn't like something, or maybe in time she'll accept that that doesn't make her a slut or doesn't make her less. But
Or that being a slut isn't actually a bad thing.
it depends though, because if you have that as a
But
part of your belief
yeah.
system, like I was speaking to a psychotherapist recently, he said sometimes you just have to let go of one or the other. Like you can do these slutty activities and that you're fantasizing about, or you can be this good person that you aspire to be, but maybe you can't always be both. So it's tricky though, because when something sounds exciting and you try it, like with the breast milk thing, I imagine quite a lot of men might try it and then maybe think, oh, have I made a mistake? Do I feel, is this weird?
Oh, see, I just don't.
Or women even.
I don't know whether I'm like slightly autistic, 'cause for me it's just black and white. I'm so like.
But we're special because we're in the sex business.
Yeah.
So we're.
And as my whole thing is like complete destigmatization, and I just wish people could let go of the shame that they carry around sex.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. And it's something that I've generally believed all my life. But if the shame gets you to a good place where you're happy with yourself, maybe it's
Yeah, but
okay.
if you didn't have shame in the first place, you would be happy with yourself.
If we had no shame, we'd just walk around naked, right?
Sure. Why can't we walk around naked?
Because of shame. But so like,
But if there wasn't shame,
shame,
what would be wrong with walking around naked?
I guess shame has some useful social functions, like to make
for
us behave in
society.
some ways that so we don't need to police things. And obviously we have to find out where the line is.
Oh,
like if people are
obviously.
just fucking in the street.
Well, yeah.
that would be bad.
Yeah, but
So
then
there is a line.
you don't need shame to control that. You need boundaries and consent.
Yeah.
Shame doesn't drive that.
I think shame does drive some
Like,
social behavior.
respect could also drive that.
Yeah,
Like,
true. And
you
it's
don't
against the law
need,
to
you
do
don't,
that as well.
yeah, you don't need shame to behave. You can have a positive thing. Like, oh, I respect that random people in the street don't want to see me fuck, so I'm not going to fuck in the street. Rather than it being a shame, oh, I don't want people to think bad of me. Oh, no, I respect people enough to not do that.
Mm.
And that's a much nicer drive, much more positive way of living.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of if there are any counter arguments, and
I'm just too fucking good at this.
yeah. I don't know. I just always felt that maybe shame is useful, but it's like there's a balance with things.
I don't personally think shame is useful at all. I think we can have positive emotions to drive us into positive behaviors rather than negative ones.
I think that's the ideal situation, and I hope that that works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I've always believed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just more recently. I guess maybe I'm just partly just because of the work I've been doing.
Yeah,
It's
you obviously have
made me-
exposure to a lot of things.
I've only been exposed to more dark things where I'm thinking, if we had more shame over this stuff, it wouldn't be allowed. You know, there'd be like a moral outrage. And
But
like,
then I do think like respect would also do that. It doesn't need to be a self-hatred to do that.
It could be.
And I think like reducing the shame opens up the conversation, which allows us to educate and explore and learn how to do things safely or to like, compromise on things. Like, how can I relieve this need inside me without doing something bad? Let's come to a compromise.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like before this year, definitely agree 100%. This year been a bit messed up for me, and I'm just questioning everything, and we'll see where I get to. But in principle, completely agree with that.
I mean, I get it as well because I've obviously had exposure to that, but like, yeah, I just personally believe that like consent and respect can also do these things. Like, I would never ever shame someone or make someone feel bad about feelings they have, but if they come to me and like, and like say that they want to do something that parties aren't, like, for example, someone spoke to me the other day and said, oh, I'm really turned on, my colleague left her shoes on the floor and I smelt them and got all horny, and I'm like, she didn't consent to you to smelling those shoes. Like,
and they're not your shoes.
They're not your shoes.
Yeah.
You can fantasize about smelling the shoes.
You own what's in your head.
Yeah, because that exists only to you. But you can't touch those shoes. They're not yours. And she hasn't consented to that.
Yeah, because that's making her part of the fantasy,
exactly.
isn't it?
And also, like, there's a lot of evidence that shame and trying to repress behaviors and feelings just make them worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It leads to depression, especially sexually.
Yeah, and makes the desire even more. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. We've gone really dark again.
Oh, no! Let's talk about something happy.
Any more breast milk stories?
I don't really think so. I just love, like, squirting it all over people. It's my favourite.
How much milk comes out when you squirt milk over a man?
A lot.
Really? How much is a lot? Like more than this glass?
Oh, no.
More than with semen?
Yeah. It, like, fires out, like...
How far does it fire?
I could show you. I'll go over there and squirt out. Do you want to see?
I think I can censor it.
Yeah. What, like... I'll do it off camera. So
okay. Okay.
See my baby now.
This is the megaboob.
Ready? This is the megaboob. The other one doesn't really do it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see? Did it show up on camera? camera?
I don't know.
And that is my party trick.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So can all girls that have breast milk do that?
So mine is kind of weird, actually.
I actually looked up the world record for how far breast milk squirts, but I couldn't find one. But you should apply and try and have it, yeah.
Because mine is really bizarre and it like fires out like a water gun, like, whereas most women, it like goes like this.
Oh.
And comes out like several holes.
Because
like
yours
this.
is like
But
targeted.
mine is, yeah, I could do like, shoot
can,
down
like,
some
aim
targets with it.
Yeah.
It's well funny. I did a TikTok in a car where I don't know if you've heard that, like, that voice where it's like,
Do you ever just squirt people as you're driving past?
no, I haven't done that. I have squirted someone before who was like being really mean about my milk though.
What?
Yeah, so I was feeding my baby, and they like started being really disgusted and they like complained.
That's annoying.
And they came over and they were like, "Oh, that is disgusting." So I just was like, psh.
You squirted them. Did they notice?
Yeah, they were evil.
What did they say?
Well, luckily I was in this really nice vegan cafe that were like, they told them to leave. I was like, "Do you not like it?" I was really mad. How dare they tell me not to feed my baby?
Yeah, I mean, I'm for public breastfeeding. I just like to politely look away, if that makes sense.
If you don't like it, move your eyes.
Right, it just made me giggle just because I don't see breastfeeding.
Yeah. I can understand that. And also I think like sometimes it's when you've got an older baby, they can like pop off because they want to see what's going on. So
Squirting in a vegan restaurant at someone is amazing. I've never heard of that before. Can vegans have breast milk?
yeah, it's vegan.
Cool.
Well, it
Is
depends
it though?
on how vegan you are. So obviously breast milk is vegan because you can consent to the milk being eaten.
Of course.
But then some vegans wouldn't drink my milk because it will include milk protein because I have milk.
Oh.
So it depends like how vegan is vegan.
So your milk might be made with my milk.
Would have milk. Yeah. Would have like, well, I don't really drink milk. I have cheese. Cheesy milk.
Same thing.
But like, yeah, so vegans would feed their baby breast milk because they consent to their milk being used.
It's amazing.
Maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I can make like cheese and stuff for vegans with my breast milk.
This is the thing. And you can buy it in bulk online.
Yeah.
So
I'll just start making vegan brand breast milk cheese.
it's got to taste better than vegan cheese.
I wonder what breast milk cheese actually tastes like.
I'm so disappointed that you didn't come in with like a whole recipe book.
I need to make breast milk cheese.
You could be like the Delia Smith of breast milk recipes. For Christmas, I bought one of my friends a real book that wasn't written ironically called Cooking with Semen. And it didn't have a lot of recipes, but the recipes it had were genuine.
It's fascinating what humans will do with their...
Yeah. It was written in the most unironic way. And it's like, and it had a note at the beginning saying like, some recipes call for fresh semen. Some, you can use some of the frozen from earlier.
I do find it kind of hilarious that some men will be cringed out by breast milk, but like smother a load of cum over my face and it's the hottest thing ever.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sort your shit out.
Yeah, semen.
Oh, that's disgusting. But here's some gloop from my penis.
Could you rank the three excretions in order of preference?
My preference.
Yeah.
So milk would be top.
Milk's top.
Yeah, and then squirt.
That's your thing.
Yeah, and then I like squirt and then probably cum.
Sounds like you like your own brands.
No, like other girls squirt.
Ah, okay, other girls as well.
Yeah. I've got a big thing for noise as well. So like the noise just before you squirt when it's like, oh. I'm like, listen to that.
Yeah. when you squirted your breast milk, I did feel a little bit disappointed that there wasn't like a
Yeah,
sound.
there's no noise with
You have to
it.
do your own sound effects.
Silent breast milk squirts.
In your videos, do you edit in a sound effect?
No, I shouldn't I?
I think so. I would
I
like
do
to.
find it just so hot though, like especially like missionary, where like the guy like squeezes the boobs and then like the milk goes everywhere. That's really hot.
I mean, it sounds like an anime, doesn't it?
It is quite big.
Because it's very visual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any sex tips for people that are having sex with a breast milk fetish?
I think like the best one is just riding, because then they can like suck, or you can spray it.
And you're kind of below, so it's gonna get you.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I just play with it. It's fun, isn't it?
Just have fun, make a mess.
Make a mess.
And this is a weird question, but because one of the reasons I don't like squirting is because you got to sleep in the bed after. So if you've been surprised, it's like,
you should get one of those special blankets. Have you seen them?
Yeah, but when you've been surprised, it's just, why didn't you tell me this?
Well, sometimes you don't know.
And you've got to like change the bed, and there's still the patch, and it's just,
you messy gal.
When you're prepared for it, it's fine. But does the breast milk like make the bed go sour?
It depends like how much, but to be honest, like if it's only like a little, like you've seen how much comes out, so I don't think so. But you wouldn't want to like not change the bed after a couple of days. You'd be fine for like a day.
Yeah, you can get through the night.
Yeah, and then you're like, should probably change the bed. It's hilarious though, because obviously I do milk stuff all the time. There's just milk splatters all over my house, like the mirrors, the fucking car the other day. Because I did this TikTok where it was like, this is my girl dinner, and I like sprayed the milk up in my face.
Oh, you can do that on TikTok?
Yeah, because they can't see it. It just sprays up, and they're like, what the hell is that? Those people thought it was piss. They were like, oh, she's pissing in her car. I'm like, how? How can I piss up my face? Some people were like, oh my God, she's trans. Because they were... Is milk really that rare that you think I'm a trans guy?
I've never seen milk on TikTok.
Pissing in my own face in my car. Come on, I'm filthy, but there's a limit.
That's the limit.
That's the limit. I'm not going to piss in my car.
Pee's not even in your top 3 excretions.
Yeah. Pee isn't really a thing for me. But I do loads of TikToks like that because it's funny and people are always like, what is that?
It's a superpower.
Yeah. I did that whole like, why are all these boys in my yard? Oh my God, it's my milkshake. But then I'm like, oh my God, my car. There's like milk everywhere. My cleaner in my house must think, what the fuck? But she knows. There's like anal lube and a random vibrator.
Yeah. But you know what I think one of the, like, just, I guess to wrap up, the thing that comes across most to me is just, like, you have these cool stories because you're just so comfortable with it. And there really is no need to be scared or repulsed by breast milk.
No.
And
it's perfectly natural.
I'll completely admit I went in thinking breast milk is quite disgusting.
Really?
Yeah, I did. It's just like a personal, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But it's me that's the weird one.
Yeah.
Is how I feel. And not just me, but I think lots.
Do you feel less like that now, or?
I think I've got a weirdness to get over. I think if I had a baby, I would be used to it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's just milk.
Yeah. And I think the thing is as well, like, as humans, like, we have like icks and we have yums and then we have neutrals. And if you've got an ick, then it's probably not going to become a yum. It's just, it is what it is.
I think it's because it's, for me, it's just a bodily fluid from a stranger.
Yeah.
And I've not experienced that bodily fluid from someone I like.
Apart from a cow.
I like cows.
I like cows.
You're imitating my accent now?
Are you promoting bestiality?
Oh, they're going to clip it. It's so funny though, isn't it? That you can make a porn video with cow milk, but you can't make a porn video with breast milk.
What, on OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So ridiculous. I think it's anti-women, but let's not get on my high horse.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to add about breast milk or?
I just personally see sex as like an adult playground, and I just think if we've been given this like beautiful thing to connect and play and experience pleasure, and I just think everybody should use that and be human and feel and have fun. And if squirting milk all over someone or receiving milk all over someone is part of that fun, then
it definitely
enjoy
sounds
it.
fun. Just
Yeah.
maybe more to watch than to enjoy myself.
Maybe if someone was like actively fucking you and then you were like, oh, this feels really good. Oh, that looks really good. Okay, now I like
In the moment, everything.
Yeah,
feels
exactly.
hot, doesn't it?
I think that's the thing. That's why I've not experienced negativity with it. It's like, I'm a good fuck, and if I spray milk in your face while I'm shagging you, then you're just going to like milk.
Yeah. It's like... No, but I'm like really impressed by your openness and just ability to make me realize how it's not you that's the weird one.
Thank you.
Well done for that.
Yay.
And thanks so much.
I hope
for
it comes
doing
across
this.
like that for other people as well.
I think it will. And we had like a really serious discussion in the middle.
Oh, deep. That was deep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a bit scared about that one.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I'm not putting that on unless I think it'll be okay, but I'll check with you first.
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah. But thanks so much for coming on. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? And
Yeah, so you can find me on my Instagram. I'm a sex educator and ethical porn creator. I love showing like real connection and having the opportunity to teach people about sex and kink and open up those conversations. My Instagram is bettersx.blog. I have a blog as well where I put weekly blogs on, and my TikTok is Alice Lovegood X, I think. And then I have an OnlyFans and a Fansly as well. So you can find me there too.
I think you need a new character of Alice Lovegood as well.
Yeah, I do.
I keep thinking that's the name for some reason.
It's kind of hot, isn't it? It's like Alice
That could be like your darker,
my dom
dommy
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I do like that whole goddess thing.
It's fun.
Like worship me. Ooh.
How did you find that? Was it okay?
It was fun. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Really, I appreciate it so much.